helped me to reach 2,000 subscribers. I still remember the sound. That faint plastic crack, like a twig underfoot, when the DNA envelope split open in my hands. I stared at the single line of text that ended my world. Probability of paternity, 0%. The room around me dissolved. The walls blurred, the ceiling swayed. My fingers went cold, like I'd been drained of blood. My daughter's laughter echoed faintly from the living room, a sound that used to make my chest ache with joy. Now, it only made me tremble. Her name was Emily. She was 5. She had my smile, or so everyone said, the same dimple on the left cheek. I used to kiss that spot every night before bed. But that night, I couldn't even look at her. David. Claire's voice called from the kitchen. Dinner's almost ready. I folded the paper, slid it into my jacket pocket, and walked in like nothing had happened. My chest felt like it was full of splinters. She turned around, smiling, her blonde hair tied up, wearing that soft blue sweater I bought her for her birthday. For a split second, I almost believed it all again. The warmth, the routine, the illusion. How was work? She asked, pouring wine into 2 glasses. I looked at her hands, steady, graceful, confident. Hands that had held our daughter. Hands that had touched someone else. It was fine, I said. Tiring. I couldn't eat. I couldn't swallow. Every bite tasted like betrayal. When Emily ran in and climbed into my lap, I froze. Her small arms wrapped around my neck. Her hair smelled like lavender shampoo. I had to fight not to sob into her shoulder. "Daddy, can you read me a story tonight?" she asked. I nodded, because I couldn't speak. That night, when she fell asleep beside me, I sat there in the dark and stared at her face for hours. I wanted to hate her, but I couldn't. None of this was her fault. The hate had nowhere to go, so it stayed inside me, burning quietly, eating everything I used to be. 3 days later, I confronted Claire. She was in the kitchen again, scrolling through her phone, humming softly. I dropped the DNA results on the counter. "What's this?" she asked, picking it up with a frown. "Read it," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. She looked at the paper. Her lips parted slightly. Then her hand flew to her mouth. "David." "Whose is it?" I cut her off. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't buy them. I'd seen her cry before, when her mother died, when Emily was born. But this was different. This was performance. "Please," she whispered. "It was a mistake. It happened once, before I knew I was pregnant." "Who?" "It doesn't matter." "It does," I said, stepping closer. "It's a man whose child I've been raising for 5 years." She shook her head, crying harder. "David, you're her father. You always will be. You're the one who stayed." I laughed, a low, broken laugh that scared even me. "Stayed? You built this life on a lie. Claire, you didn't give me a choice." Her face collapsed. "Please don't leave. Not now. Not when she needs you." But something inside me was already gone. I vanished that night, left my phone on the counter, withdrew cash, and drove north until the city lights disappeared. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I didn't leave a note. I just stopped existing. I found a small town by the sea, population under 3,000. Bought a cabin that smelled of pine and damp wood. Got a job fixing boats for a retired fisherman named Carl. For the first time in years, I could breathe. But every night, I saw Emily in my dreams, laughing, calling me Daddy. Every morning, I woke up with her name on my lips. Guilt sat beside me at breakfast. Regret shared my coffee. Silence became my only friend. I never remarried, never dated. My heart was a locked room I didn't want to open again. Then, 5 years later, she found me. I was repairing a motor at the dock when a silver sedan pulled up. The door opened, and Claire stepped out. Older, paler, but unmistakable. For a moment, I thought I was hallucinating. "David," she said softly. My hands froze. Grease and salt water dripped from my fingers. "What are you doing here?" I asked. She swallowed. "Emily's been asking for you." My chest tightened. "She's not mine." Claire's eyes glistened. "You raised her. You loved her. She still calls you her dad. I turned away. The ocean wind hit my face, sharp and cold. I don't know what you expect from me, I said. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. I just thought you should know she's sick. That word, sick, cut through the years like a knife. I turned back slowly. What do you mean? Leukemia, she whispered. She's been fighting it for months. I felt the ground tilt under me. The air left my lungs. She keeps asking why you stopped loving her. Something broke. The walls I'd built for survival, the layers of anger, the years of silence, they all cracked open. Why are you telling me this now? I said, trembling. Because he doesn't have much time, Claire said. And I thought maybe you'd want to see her one last time. That night, I drove back with her. When I walked into the hospital room, the world went silent. Emily, thinner, paler, hooked up to tubes, looked up from her coloring book. Her eyes widened. Daddy. My throat closed. I nodded, tears spilling before I could stop them. She smiled weakly. I knew you'd come back. I sat beside her bed and took her hand. Her fingers were small and cold. She started telling me about school, about her friends, about a story she'd written. I listened, nodding, every word burning into me. That night, as she slept, I looked at Claire standing in the doorway. She doesn't know. I asked. Claire shook her head. I could never tell her. To her, you're her father. You always will be. I looked at Emily again, the rise and fall of her chest, the faint smile on her lips. For the first time in years, I realized it didn't matter whose blood she carried. Love had made her mine long before betrayal tried to take her away. 2 months later, Emily was gone. She died peacefully in her sleep, holding a drawing of the three of us, hand in hand, smiling under a bright yellow sun. After the funeral, Claire stood beside me under the gray sky. I never stopped loving you, she said quietly. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because love, once broken, doesn't die. It just turns into something unrecognizable. As I watched the coffin lower into the earth, I realized forgiveness wasn't something I could give to her. It was something I needed to give to myself. And so, I stayed for one last moment, whispering goodbye to the only child I ever truly had. Mine not by blood, but by heart. Then I walked away, this time not to disappear, but to finally begin again,